1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Buongiorno, benvenuti e ciao. This is Mr. De Puma with today's video lesson on telling time. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you print out the structured note packet so you can follow along and take notes as we go through the video. If you have your packet all ready to go, let's proceed. So in Italian, when we want to tell what time it is or ask what time is it, we say che ora è. And when we want to respond, we have two different structures that we use. The first structure is when we have the singular time 1 o'clock. If it is 1 o'clock, then we say è l'una. Please note that we have the indefinite article, L with the apostrophe, in front of the feminine una. So it's 1 o'clock is è l'una. For all other times that are plural, we use sono le. Sono le would be in front of 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, all the way down. So for example, we have here 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. Pause the video and take your best shot at writing out 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock in Italian. When you're all set, resume the video and see if your answers are correct. Okay, now that you've written down your answers, let's go through them. 1 o'clock is è l'una. 2 o'clock is sono le due. 3 o'clock is sono le tre. And 4 o'clock is sono le quattro. Excellent work. So now when we have a half an hour, like 8:30, we have to add the end 30. But in Italian, we don't say end 30. Instead, we say end a half, which is è mezzo. So, for example, 8:30 would be sono le otto e mezzo. We would do that for any time where we have 30 minutes. Sono le quattro e mezzo would be it's 4:30. Sono le due e mezzo would be it's 2:30. In fact, anytime that we are adding minutes, we are going to use e. So from the minutes of 1 to 29, for example, 2:01, 2:02, 2:03, all the way down to 2:29, we're going to use e. So, for example, in Italian, 8:15 would be it is 8 o'clock and 15 minutes. So we would say sono le otto e quindici. Pretty simple, right? So now you can pause the video again and try writing out 3:05, 9:10, and 11:23. Once you have your answers written down, resume the video so we can go over them. Okay, great. Now that you have your answers down, let's check your responses. 3:05 is sono le tre e cinque. 9:10 is sono le nove e dieci. And 11:23 is sono le undici e ventitré. Bravissimi ragazzi. Now, when a time is after the 30 mark, meaning 11:31, 11:32, 11:33, and so on, we subtract from the next hour. Now that sounds confusing, but follow with me. I can promise you that it's not as hard as it seems. Let's take a look at the example 11:45. If I want to say 11:45, I subtract the minutes remaining from the next hour. So I need to find a couple of things. First thing I need to find is what is the next hour. The next thing I need to find is how many minutes until the next hour. So with 11:45, the next hour is 12. And how many minutes are until I reach 12 o'clock? Well, that would be 15 minutes. So 11:45 would read like this. Sono le 12 meno 15. That means it is 12 o'clock minus 15 minutes. Silly as that sounds, that's how all languages that are Romance languages tell time. Let's try 3:47, 7:55, and 10:40. This time, I'd like to go through them together. If you want, you can pause the video, try it on your own first, and then listen to my explanation. So for number 1, we have 3:47. The next hour to 3 o'clock is 4 o'clock. So to start my response, I would say it is 4 o'clock. Then I want to minus from 4 o'clock the number of minutes that are remaining. Well, the number of minutes remaining is 13. So my sentence would read, it is 4 o'clock minus 13 minutes. Sono le 4 meno 13. Let's try number 2, 7:55. We see that the 55 is greater than 30, so we know we're going to subtract from the next hour. What is the next hour after 7? The answer is 8. And how many minutes until it becomes 8 o'clock? Well, there's 5 minutes remaining until it's 8 o'clock. So my response is going to read, it is 8 minus 5 minutes, which would be sono le 8 meno 5. And finally, we have number 3, 10:40. So again, we see that 40 is greater than 30, so we know that we have to go to the next hour. The next hour is 11. How many minutes until it turns 11? That's right, 20. So our sentence will read, it is 11 minus 20, which is sono le 11 meno 20. Not so bad once you have the hang of it. So now we'll talk about vocabulary. In punto, in Italian, very simply means on the dot in English. So we could have 2 o'clock on the dot. Sono le 2 in punto. That means it is exactly 2 on the dot. It is exactly 2 o'clock. Next, we have mezzogiorno. Mezzogiorno means half day, or in English we would say midday. And we have mezzanotte, which means half the night, or, as we say in English, midnight. So now we're going to talk about at what time is it. If I want to ask at what time something is, I use the expression a che ora è. When we respond, we use the simple alle. So, let's take a look at an example. At what time do you have math class? Well, if I want to ask this question, I need to break it down into very simple parts. We know that at what time is a che ora. Do you have? Now remember that in Italian we don't use do you. Instead, we just say you have. So I'm hoping that you remember how to say you have, because it's in a very important question that we ask all the time. Quanti anni hai? Remember, quanti anni hai means how old are you, or how many years do you have? So I means you have. In this, we would say a che ora I, and then math class, la classe di matematica. A che ora hai la classe di matematica. In order to respond, we would say io ho, which is I have, la classe di matematica, math class, alle, at, 8 meno 5, 8 minus 5, which is first period, which is 7:55. Once again, that's io ho la classe di matematica alle 8 meno 5. Another example. At what time do you have science class? Again, in Italian, we would break it down, at what time, a che ora. And how do I ask, do you have? That's right, I. And science class, la classe di scienza. Now, in order to respond, we would say, io ho la classe di scienza alle 8 meno 5. All right, that's it for us today. If you have any questions, please make sure that you talk to your teacher.